All right. Hey, it's time for another episode of the Beach Brothers Show. The Beach Brothers is a Virginia business and politics show. So I'm Seko Varner. That's Conrad Schesventer. And that on the very end, I said that. I did say that. Is Jose Cruz. So we're the Beach Brothers. We all live in the beach. We love Virginia and we love business and politics. Conrad is our political pundit. All right. I'm the community activist.
We'll work with that. We'll give him that.
And Jose is our business beast. Yeah, fall back.
I'll take that.
Good stuff. So today we're going to be introducing and talking with one of the gentlemen who's running for Portsmouth City Council. He'll be joining us a little later on in the show. Jose, who's our sponsor for today?
Well, our sponsor for today, one of our local sponsors, is Sassy Nails. It's a professional nail care salon for ladies and gentlemen. It's located at 1940 Laskin Road, Suite 311, right over there in Regency Hilltop Shopping Center off of Laskin Road, right by Captain George's. And it's an awesome place for you ladies to go get your nails done. Fellas, they do awesome pedicures. So stop in and see your girl Stephanie and tell Jose and the Beach Brothers sent you.
It's better than me.
All right. It sounds like you got a pedicure, bro.
Indeed, sir.
Indeed. What's it like getting a pedicure? I think I've had one when I was in the Dominican Republic, but I wasn't fully awake.
Same here. Same here. It's enjoyable while you're awake.
Okay, well, the Beach Brothers Show is
once that massage starts, you just gotta, wait to see her at the end when she wakes you up.
Conrad, who is our political pundit, our heavy political pundit. What's happening in Virginia politics? What's new in Virginia politics?
Well, we are getting closer and closer and closer to the primaries on June 23rd. It is important to note that not all the districts of Virginia have that primary process for Congress. In fact, I've been trying to get on a couple of folks from the Virginia 7th, and they don't have a primary. They're going to have a convention, I believe, in July. So that gives us a little bit more time to get some of those Congress candidates on. And I've heard locally, a couple last-minute names might be floating around to join the mayor race. I've heard Jody Wagner is officially on. I haven't heard much yet of who else wants to run for city council seats or school board seats. I'm going to have to keep calling the registrar's office down in the municipal center to figure out about that.
That sounds great. Speaking of politics, our guest for the show has popped in. So, Conrad, who do we have on the show tonight?
Well, the Beach Brothers have the great fortune of having Portsmouth at-large city council candidate Dante Walston on tonight. And he's a multifaceted, is a great way to describe Mr. Walston. He's a worker at one of East Coast's foremost hubs, the Port of Virginia. He's a music instructor for the city of Norfolk. He has a bachelor's in music from Norfolk State. Behold the green and gold. Once again, Seko. He has a bachelor's in arts of performance from Old Dominion, my alma mater. He has a master's in management from the Catholic University of America in D.C. And we want to begin, Mr. Walston, by asking you about your inspiration. Why 2020's Portsmouth City Council race?
Well, hey, good evening. I hope you can hear me. Good evening. Thanks so much, you guys, for having me. I have been thinking about getting my foot in this door for some time now, and being a family of union workers, I was surrounded by politics. So I've been thinking about this for some time now, and I say it's no time like the present. In Portsmouth, people have been talking about change, and I can't be a part of that brand saying we need change unless I try to bring that change. So I said 2020 is the year for me to try to bring that change to Portsmouth.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Right off the bat, Mr. Jose.
Good evening, Mr. Dante. How you doing this evening?
Good evening. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Okay. The Beach Brothers topically blends business and politics. And we want to underscore the massive intersection of Portsmouth City Council, the Port of Virginia, international trade unions, and 757 businesses. You get to observe up front how they all mingle. What would you want to do to positively influence them?
The Port of Virginia is the economic front line for Hampton Roads. So much money, so many things are pumped through and throughout that port. Being on that front line, I know how important that is, and I want to encourage that relationship, and I want to strengthen that. And that's one thing that will have me. That makes me stand out from the other people that are running for city council right now. I know how important that relationship not only is to Portsmouth, but to Hampton Roads. I mean, we have refrigerators, we have cars, we have personal protection equipment that comes throughout that terminal. And those terminals, there are several terminals in the area, and I want to be the one person to strengthen that relationship between Portsmouth and City Council and throughout Hampton Roads.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Interesting. Well, it's time for the bougie Hamptonian. It's time for the bougie Hamptonian. Hey, look, I have love for Norfolk State University. My son is a Spartan. My daughter is becoming a Spartan. I used to work for Norfolk State University, and I think it's important to note that Norfolk State University looked for the best person for that position, and they found a Hamptonian.
Well, okay. I've got some good friends. I don't want to bash Hampton too bad, but Hampton has pushed out some good folks. Some good folks.
Good. I do also want to say, for 15 years, I worked for the city of Portsmouth Public Schools. Okay. And I really enjoy Portsmouth. I mean, I cut my educational teeth in the Portsmouth City Public School system, and I love what your school system is doing. I love what it's done. I've seen some great people come out of that school system. Absolutely. So I just want to say 2 up and 2 down for VA, and a big P to P-Town. We love you.
All right. Thank you.
So, you've helped as a teacher and as a volunteer.
Right.
What can you truly do on the city council that you can't do outside of the city council that's really making you want to run? What is it?
You mean with education?
Right.
With education, with the school board, I want to strengthen that relationship, and that's across the board with Portsmouth. I've been saying this, meeting people. I really want to be that bridge in the middle. There's so much of a divide in Portsmouth right now. I want to be the person to bridge that gap. And right now, education period is very important to me because, of course, that's my background. But I want to be the person to strengthen the relationship between city council and the school board. And right now, it's almost like a separation right now, and that doesn't work when it comes to our children. I really believe this. I really believe in giving our children a fair chance at bat. And right now, with the division that is between city council and the school board, our children are left on the back burner. And city council has the ability to pump money into the school board. But if we're going to continue to pump money, we need to make sure that money is being allocated in the right places. We want our teachers to be paid well. We want our facilities to be taken care of. But at the end of the day, we want our children to be taken care of. So I want to bridge that gap. I want to mend that relationship between the school board leaders and city council, which ultimately will give our children the greatest effect, and give our children a fair chance at bat. And that's what we should be pushing for. That's what I'm trying to push for.
Interesting. Is there something in your background that's driving this?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I'm a former music education. I still toot my horn from time to time. And again, I know how important education is. It's not just a punchline. It's the difference between having a job that you can keep the lights on and having a job that you'll be comfortable. And our children right now are at the back burner. We have a decent amount of money that's pumped into education. We really need to make sure that money is allocated right, so that our children will have a better future. I'm an advocate true big advocate of education. Coming from my background, that's all my family pushed. Faith and education, faith and education. So if anything, I think that's my background. I had to believe in God and I had to get an education. So that was the only thing my mother and family, that's the only thing they really pushed. I mean, and besides being a nice person, but that's a part of my background. So I think a part of city leadership needs to really reassure our families and the families trying to pay our bills that we're going to give their children a fair chance at that. And right now, our children are really put to the back burner.
Okay. At this time, Brother Seko, it's funny how you were talking about enjoying myself earlier, and I promise I don't plan it out like this, but our second business shout out just happens to be another place that I love to eat at, and it's Anna's Kitchen. Anna's Kitchen is also located at 1940 Laskin Road in the Regency Hilltop shopping center. It's right over there behind Captain George's, and they have some awesome pizza there. I mean, you can stop in. They have Italian dishes as well. So, I mean, hey, the ladies go. Fellas, you drop your ladies off to get their nails done. You stop off next door, you grab some pizza. I mean, it's a win-win, guys. So stop in and see your boy Shazam. Tell him over there in the Beach Brothers Center and enjoy yourself some pizza.
Shout out Shazad. There you go.
Now, that's intriguing, Jose, because I thought you were going to come back with another Hispanic restaurant, man. I was ready for some ready for some spicy, but I like that Italian. We'll go with the pizza.
Italian and pizza is the best.
Okay. Hey, Dante, I know that Jose has another question, but I want to ask very quickly. In Portsmouth, where's a great place to get a pizza?
Oh my goodness. See, I hate this. I hate to sound terrible. See, but I'm not a big pizza guy. You know, if I am going to eat pizza, you know, like I'm trying to make sure I fit into these blazers. So if I am going to eat pizza, I'm a Domino's guy. If I am going to eat, if I am going to cheat, I'm a Domino's guy. I am all the way, but I don't need it. But yeah, I'm trying to avoid bread. So if I am going to eat pizza, Domino's is I'm not a big fan of giving all big chains my money, but if I have to, that's where I'm going. Domino's on Monday.
I say, brother Jose,
be right.
Jose, next question.
Will do. To piggyback off of your question, though, and I'm gonna get you all the information on this place. There's a place called Gino's. It's out in Portsmouth, and they have some awesome pizza. So I'm gonna get you that information, Brother Seko. But Dante, getting back to you in the next question.
Okay.
There are two transportation-related issues related to Portsmouth that immediately come to mind: roadway design and the burdensome tolls. A city councilman will have a significant voice toward modifying all of that. What would you do about it?
Great question. I will speak with our regional leadership. That it's a regional issue at this point. Infrastructure and the tolls are a regional issue, and I will speak with our regional leadership. Those are the city council folk from Norfolk, from Virginia Beach, and from Suffolk. We've got to all come to a table. I will speak with them to come up with an issue, some kind of way to bring resolution to it. I'll also mention being a part of the union. I am a part of the AFL-CIO. So we go to Richmond often to talk to our state legislators. So something I will do in addition to being a part of city council, I will go and meet with our state legislators. I will petition them. I will bring the concern up to them. It's not just a Portsmouth and Norfolk thing. I'm talking about the tolls now. It's not just a Portsmouth and Norfolk thing. It's a Hampton Roads thing. And this burden has really been an issue for Portsmouth and Norfolk residents. I read in Virginia Pilot that Portsmouth is the second least visited city in Hampton Roads. And the tolls play a big part to that. People don't want to deal with them. I've got friends that come to visit me often and they want to take the loop around. And I'm like, well, just come through. No, I don't want to pay that toll. I don't want to pay that toll. So it's this point now, and it's not just a Norfolk thing. It's not just a Portsmouth thing. It's a regional thing. So I will speak with our leadership across the board so that we can sit down and come up with great resolution. And I've got to petition we've got a ton of great leadership in Richmond, and I'm going to petition them.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, paying those tolls. I know a lot of people who are just not fans of those tolls.
No. How much time do you? If I can elaborate on that, I was at a ceremony this afternoon at my job, Port of Virginia. We had a Black Lives Matter protest, and before the program even began, I started with some older longshoremen, and they said, "Dante, talk about the toll. You talk about the toll. You talk about the tolls. Do you remember when we had a 10-cent toll?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a bit before my time, but those tolls were to pay for the roads and pay for things to come. And the plan was, once these things were established and once that quote was done, there will be it. But now these tolls, the tunnel has been here, and we're still suffering the burden. So at this point, we've got to sit together as a region and come up with great solution to bring to our legislators in Richmond, so that we can come up and take this burden off of Portsmouth. It's a terrible burden, and I'm ready to get in a good fight."
Interesting. I have on a shirt from the Access College Foundation. So the Access College Foundation is a firm in Hampton Roads that provides college counselors in each of the high schools.
Yes.
Hampton Roads in Norfolk, in Portsmouth, Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake. So on this side of the water anyway. And the president resides in P-Town. And I know that she's always paying those tolls. And I tell you what, you'll be helping the citizens of Hampton Roads if you're able to work on that. So, all right, let me get back to what I really want to talk about. You know about Access?
I was going to say, if you let me expound on it just for 2 minutes, it's interesting. I've been before this whole COVID thing, I was meeting with the school teachers, and I was meeting with students, and Access was so important to me as a senior. They get with you, what they got with us. I don't know about now. They got with us as freshmen, and we had to lay out a whole 4-year track of what we want to do this year at the colleges we're looking at, and what we plan to do as an adult. And I know how important. I did not. I haven't heard too many people talk about Access lately, but it's great memories. And I remember Access paying for all of those applications. So Access was, it saved my mother's pocketbook. So Access was so important to me as a young person, and I would love to meet with her. But please set that up.
I'll do that. I worked as an Access advisor for 5 years. My first year and a half, I worked in Portsmouth, and so I worked at IC Norcom and what's the other high school? The Presidents, Wilson High School. Salute to my presidents. And did a little work in Churchland as well. Salute to my truckers. As a matter of fact, I was a teacher at Churchland High School. Yeah. What high school did you graduate from?
I graduated from Booker T. I was brought to Portsmouth. I'm a Norfolk guy, born and raised. I've been working for the Port of Virginia for a little over 7 years. So when it was time to buy a house, it's time to start looking for a house, I said I've put all this money into Portsmouth because, like I told you, I try to watch my diet, but I do like to eat. So we would go to some of the nicest restaurants in Portsmouth. So I said, you know what? I'm putting all this money into Portsmouth. Portsmouth is so beautiful. I might as well buy my house in Portsmouth. So I graduated from Booker T, and now I'm a great Portsmouth president.
Well, I'll say this. For a year and a half, I was the Access advisor at Booker T. Washington High School in Norfolk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we're kind of following each other in some ways, man. Hey, look, we have a couple of questions. Let me see. Cheryl Berry asked the question, and Jason King asked a question. So Cheryl's question was, how do we bridge the gap? I think that goes back to something you talked about earlier. And let me see what Jason's question was. How will you improve the relationships, accountability, and transparency of Portsmouth Police Department and the public? That's a great question. We're going to go to those questions a little later. That'll be at the end of the show. We'll do with those at the end of the show. Okay. Interesting. All right. So I'm a former candidate for Virginia Beach City Public Schools School Board, and I'm a current teacher. I actually teach in Norfolk right now. Public education is supremely important and one of our best interests. So what are the biggest ideas you have as an inspiring Portsmouth councilman towards strengthening that vital Portsmouth community lifeline. So I'm not just asking about the school. I'm talking about the lifeline between what the students learn and engage in and what the city has to offer them.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
The first thing I want to, it goes back to establishing that relationship. I have to have a great relationship, or a part of leadership. We must have a great relationship with the school board. But even beyond that, I would like, as a part of leadership, to have a great relationship with the teachers and the staff, to see what their concerns are. Again, a lot of people just want to throw money at everything, and I don't think that's always a solution. I want to establish a great relationship with the teachers, and I want to see what their concerns are. Are they being brought up to state expectations? Are they being on top of all the newest technology? So I want to first have a great relationship with our teachers and our staff. I visited so many schools before this whole COVID thing hit, and so many of them had simple concerns about supply and demand of paper and pencils. So I want to first start off establishing a great relationship with them. But from there, I want to see, what do we need to be giving our young people from preschool on up? How can we give them the fundamentals to do well all the way up? That's my biggest thing. Again, being a former educator, I was music, so I was teaching children to count to 12. So that's as far as I can go. But education, periodly, I want to meet with our teachers from pre-K all the way up to the top. What are your concerns? How can we be at the front line of higher education in Hampton Roads? We've got to bring our teachers and administration to the table. That's the biggest thing I'd like to strengthen, the communication with them. But we've got to have some kind of line, and that goes to that whole bridging the gap thing. I can't keep making executive decisions without communicating with you. So to start, I have to establish that communication to see what the need is, and then we can go from there. But we've got to give our young people a chance at that.
Hope you don't mind, but I'd like to jump in here with a piggyback off of regionalism. As a fellow city council candidate, but over in the neighboring city, Virginia Beach, I highlight flood mitigation and rapid bus transit as my most significant policy pillars. And I believe supplemental funding from Richmond and Washington, D.C. is needed to do that. And I want to know if traveling to Richmond and D.C., advocating for similar things would be important for a Portsmouth City Council member too.
Absolutely. Again, I just won't meet with our state legislators. I enjoy my trip to Richmond, but I enjoy my trip to DC even more. So I'm not opposed to knocking on Congressman Scott's door. I am not opposed to petitioning them. Again, this, like I said, this isn't just a Portsmouth thing. At this point, it's beyond the bounds of Portsmouth and Virginia. And our leadership right now, they get so complicit in just staying in Portsmouth. And I love my city. But I don't mind taking a weekend trip to meet with our state and federal legislators. So I don't mind knocking on Congressman Scott's door to tell him my concerns for Portsmouth, or those other great congressmen from Virginia. But I don't mind. I'm not opposed to it. And it's a part of my job. If I want the best for Portsmouth, I've got to meet with those people that can do the best for Portsmouth.
And if you need help with that, let me know.
Great.
Unmute, Mr. Jose.
I didn't know what was up with the next question, but all right, Mr. Dante, the past several weeks have been culturally eye-opening and significant.
Big time.
We know you want to provide solid community leadership in Portsmouth. So we're curious on your ideas on bringing the community and government together throughout the year.
Right. To simply put, this isn't a moment for kumbaya. This is truly a moment for holding accountability for our leadership. It truly is. And I've been talking with so many friends across the area, and millennials have been raising sand. And I'm an advocate for change. And that's another reason. I think I mentioned that earlier about why I've gotten to this race. There's so many people that have gotten into these great seats of leadership, and they aren't being accountable. They aren't being held accountable. and this is the time to hold leadership accountable. And I want to, again, that goes back to what I'm saying, being bridging that true gap with the police department and the community. We've had some incidents in Portsmouth. And I'll get beat across the back if I say we've got to hold our police accountable, but it's true. We've got to bridge that gap. If we had more community policing, if the relationship was tight between our police and our community, I don't think the issues would be as great as they are. If we were familiar with those people, it's the difference between having that full-time teacher and have a substitute. Students in class go wild when they have a substitute because they're not familiar with that person. But when we have familiar leadership in the community, it's different. It's that cop that's been on that beat for 30 years, that knows the mother, that knows that child, and can really diminish that issue. We really got to strengthen the relationship between the community and our leadership. That's police as well. We've got to strengthen it. And one thing I've proposed is meeting with our police departments once every quarter. We as leadership, we shouldn't only be just their soundboard. We should be there to listen. And one thing I tell my friends all the time, I don't mind being the listener board. I'm not Dr. Phil, but I don't mind being their soundboard. And as a part of leadership, I would like to be their sounding board for them to air their griefs, to air their concerns, those things that we can do as leadership. I would like to bring that and present it to the other part of leadership so that we can have resolve. But I would like to be a friend to the police. I would like to be that bridge that if they have any concerns, Councilman Walston, we need new cars, we need new uniforms. Have you checked out our police precincts? I want to be the friend to the police, and that's the only way to bring about change. We have to have that type of a family divided can't stand. And we need to be a true type family here in Portsmouth.
Your comparison with the police officers and substitute teachers is intriguing, but it also kind of implies that it's the students who go wild when they don't know the teacher.
That's true.
That might that's intriguing. Okay. Really intriguing. All right.
You being educated, you can understand that. Well, but let me speak for myself. Well, I can speak for myself. When we found out as high school, let's go to high school. When we found out that Miss Burns, our teacher, our math teacher, wasn't going to be there, whomever that substitute teacher, we gave them a run for the money. We gave them a run for their money. They couldn't shrink those great situations that happened in the class because they didn't have that relationship. And I really think that's what we need, and that's what we need across the country. We need to have that great relationship between the police and our communities. And I really think if we had that relationship, if there is a domestic violence, if there is some kind of domestic violence issue, it won't turn into something great because the police will be familiar with those people. I really think relationship is important. Relationship is important, and that's across the board, but definitely I'm speaking for Portsmouth. That relationship needs to be brought back together, and I'm definitely game to help merge that relationship.
All right, I do agree. I totally agree that the relationship piece that is brought about by community policing will definitely make all sides, the citizens and the officers, in a much better situation. I truly believe that. I just thought it was intriguing that you use the example of the substitutes here. We're going to wild out, which is kind of like saying that the students are people who are having these issues with abuse of power were wilding out because they didn't know the officer.
Well,
but I see your point. The greater point is if we have community policing where people are familiar with officer friendly, then the interaction with officer friendly is going to be so much more robust. It's going to be so much friendlier, officer friendly, and it's going to be a friendlier, and we won't necessarily have to go to the use of force to guide behavior. So
Absolutely.
I agree with you on that. I thought it was intriguing. So let's talk about inclusivity as well as accountability.
Okay.
How do you get things to be more inclusive in Portsmouth?
Okay. To start, I've proposed the three commissions. I have three commissions that I've brought to the plate. I'd like to first start with the veterans. We've got to bring the veterans to the table. They're caretakers, their families. It's a neglected community of people that have given us their service. So now it's time to give them their service. So one of the things I've talked about inclusivity is giving the veterans a place at the table and their caretakers, helping them find homes, helping them find employment. We've got to give them, again, like our young people, we've got to give them a fair chance at vet. Something else I've talked about is giving the seniors a commission. Our seniors, that's another neglected population of people that, again, have served their time. They've given to the community. They've given to the city. We've got to give our seniors a chance at vet, and that goes with transportation, giving them events, giving them things to do in the city. And the other thing I've talked about is with our first responders. We've got to have a place that we've got to give them a seat at the table. These are people that give to our community, so we've got to give back to them. The nurses, the firefighters, the police officers, and the emergency services people, we've got to give them a chance at bat. And I believe in sitting at the table with them. Again, like I said, I don't mind being that sounding board, but I believe in bringing them together. If we have them all together, that again, a family divided will fall. But if we get that bond together, I believe that we can stand tall. Oh, also, I'm sorry. One more thing I thought about, the one thing I've mentioned is my small business commission. I believe in truly diversifying Portsmouth small business. Crydock, Port Norfolk, West Fair. We have so many beautiful parts in our city. We've got to bring small businesses back to the table. And that, again, that's that bridging that gap that I keep stressing. We've got to bring those people together. And I truly believe in bridging that gap. So we've got to have better policies to give them a chance at that.
Let me see if we can get in a couple of these viewer questions here real quick before I have my last one regarding business shout outs. Let's see.
Okay. Okay.
Here's one from Mr. Jason. Portsmouth just passed its budget for 2021 to $698 million, and increasing meals taxes and other fees, making Portsmouth one of the highest in all the region. How would this help small businesses struggling already with COVID?
Will that help with small businesses? No, that goes back to what I was saying. We've got to strengthen the relationship. It's Portsmouth is a small city that has a lot of concerns, and it's an additional tax. And these last months have been quite hard on our small businesses in Portsmouth, and it's going to be tough. I think this is going to be a burden that we need to take on as a city. But I don't think this was particularly be great to small businesses, but this will be something to get our city in the right direction. I think if we had more small businesses, we had more businesses in Portsmouth, I think we could relieve the burden off of small businesses. This is going to be a tough year, but again, I think if we had the right people at the table, we could take some of that burden off of Portsmouth. But we've got to bring our business owners to the table, and I'm willing to sit with them. I've been meeting with them, and I'm willing to sit and meet with them.
All right.
If that tax increase helps, I do think that tax increase could go towards our first responders and our teachers. That raise that all of them should need and deserve. They need that. They truly deserve it.
All right. Here's another one from Mr. Jason. Dante, I'm currently on the Norfolk Gaming Committee here in Norfolk. And Portsmouth will have a casino as well. Are you in favor of the casino? If so, how will this help Portsmouth when neighboring Norfolk will host a casino as well?
Oh my goodness, how much time do we have? I'll be frank with you. I'll be absolutely frank with you. I'm on the fence right now with the casino. I've said to friends, and I've been in discussion about this for some time now. If the casino comes to Portsmouth and the money is going to Portsmouth, and we're going to hire Portsmouth residents, and Portsmouth contractors do the work for the casino, building, getting, supplying the cement or what have you, I'm in favor of the casino. If the casino is going to hire outside vendors and outside workers, hire outside contractors, and that money is not given back to the city, I'm absolutely not in favor of it. I'll absolutely be frank. I hate to say this, but I'm a blackjack man. I'm truly a blackjack man, and I like the idea of it coming if it helps our city. If it doesn't, the casinos have such a bad connotation. But if we get the better of the good, I'm for it. Again, those contractors, and I'm not talking about just white contractors. I'm talking about minority contractors, cement layers, bricklayers, and what have you. If we can hire, that would be great job-wise for us. If we can do that for our people, I'm game for it. I'm absolutely game for it. And if that money can go back into our schools and go back into our roads and our infrastructure, I'm your man. I might even spend a few bucks there. But if not, I don't think it's for us. We have a lot. We have a lot of things on our table right now. But if it's not going to benefit us, I don't think it should be brought in.
All right. Well, I think I'm about ready to have my.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like his response, man. I like his response. He said Portsmouth first. He said
Exactly.
Portsmouth first. As a matter of fact, for those who are watching, if you like what Dante said, type in P1. Portsmouth first. He's making sure that Portsmouth goes first. I love that, man. Type in P1. If you like what Dante said, type in P1. Brother Conrad.
And I've got to, if I can stress that, leadership has truly gotten away from caring about the people. There are so many PACs and interest groups that the majority of people, the 90,000 plus people in Portsmouth, are given the short end of the stick. So I'm an advocate of Portsmouth first. Again, I'm from Norfolk, and I don't mind saying it, but I love this city and I love our residents, and I believe that we deserve the best. We can't, you can't keep telling me you're going to do things for Portsmouth and then you bring in the casino and you're going to bring in outside people. Our residents should be given back to education, and with this, our residents should be given the equal chance at bet. I really am a firm believer of that. 5%.
Well, we want to shout out JC and Marcus. They apparently, agree with you. P1 first. So
I still like Virginia Beach. I'm not gonna lie, I still like Virginia Beach. Give Virginia Beach a number.
I mean, I agree with you. I love Virginia Beach. Don't get me wrong, but I have to agree. I have to agree with him on that one. If you're gonna bring a casino, at least keep it local, because I can provide so many jobs for people. Keep it local while you're building. Keep it local while you're employing. Because guess what? When the casinos are running, they're gonna take your money. So you might as well give them some money from the beginning.
That's what it should be about. And I really, I don't want to drag this issue, but that's really what a lot of leadership has gotten away from. It's really the people that we're supposed to be serving, not the big donors, not the elite groups, not the privileged community. We should service the people as a whole. And I really believe that. And like I said, that goes back to my thing of communication. I'm a talker. So I like to talk, but listening and bringing action is the most important. It truly is the most important. So I really believe in, like I said, that I like that Portsmouth first. That might be my next hashtag. But I truly believe in giving our residents the best we have. And right now, I think I'm the best at the table.
All right, Conrad. Before we move on, I know Conrad's about to take over. I want to say, though, one thing that I think is intriguing about the casino deal is in Norfolk, we've been looking at the Pamunkey tribe as the tribe that will bring the casino to the city of Norfolk. I have some concerns. I saw that Jason tapped in and said that, he's on a gaming commission and he's in first, Norfolk first. I have a concern, and I'm going to pass this on to Jason for the show. The Pamunkey tribe did some decisions a few years ago that excluded some of their members of African descent, and that prevents those particular tribe members who are called Creek Freedmen's and others from participating in the benefits. And I think that I hope that the Gaming Commission is addressing that concern, because if somebody's a member of the tribe, they shouldn't be excluded. If they're a tribe member, I think they should all benefit from it. I hope that doesn't happen in Portsmouth, but I haven't heard that concern in P-Town. So good stuff on P-Town. Brother Conrad, take over, my friend.
All right. This all circles back to the overall concept of P1 and back to businesses. And the Beach Brothers are always on the lookout for that next great business, or we want to try out and establish some popular ones in the area. As a Portsmouth resident, let us know some P-Town businesses you're particularly a fan of.
Well, I told you I do like to eat. So just this afternoon, I was at one of my truly favorite mom and pop joints. It's Cancun Fiesta. Now, I told you I'm not a huge fan of pizza, but I am a huge fan of Mexican food. Good God Almighty. So one of my favorite mom and pop shops is the Cancun Fiesta off of High and Dinwiddie. In that same area, another one of my favorite shop is Stella Wine Bar. Stella, I'm an advocate. I am a Cabernet kind of man. And Mandy, the owner of Stella, I because of the COVID, I haven't been able to visit her like I was in the past. But she has a great selection of Cabernets, Chardonnays, and Pinot. You know, she has a slew. So those are two of my favorite. And then I can't forget Roger Brown's Friday night with my friends. If we want a cocktail and wings, that's our place. And right now they have the patio, so we can sit outside and enjoy the breeze. And I like to people watch, so we can really sit out and enjoy. I really believe in giving back to our mom and pop shops. So yeah, like I said, Cancun Fiesta is one of my favorite mom and pop Mexican places. In Portsmouth, Mandy's wine bar is Stellar. Stellar's off of High Street as well. And of course, Portsmouth's finest, Roger Brown. Those are three of my favorite places to get a fork and go for
it. That sounds great. I'm going to have to try Cancun Fiesta. I'm definitely a fan of Roger Brown's. Yeah. I'm a fan of Brown's. I'll try Cancun Fiesta.
Good stuff.
I tell you what, Portsmouth. Oh, I tell you, when I think of Portsmouth, I think of Mosburg chicken.
Oh.
Because I worked there years ago, so that that's it. Just comes back to me, and I think of Pollard's. That just comes back to me, and I think of the Philadelphia cold cuts.
Oh,
Philadelphia cold cuts. I don't know. Are they still in Portsmouth?
I don't believe so.
Oh man,
I don't believe
that
so.
was a staple.
I'm popping out my blazer thinking about it. That's good stuff. But Mosburg is definitely there. They're definitely still there. And I hate to say this, but if I need a thing of gizzards, that's the place to go.
Good stuff. Well, Conrad, Jose, any last words? We let our friend Dante go. And thank you for joining the show. Any last words, gentlemen?
Thank you.
No last words or anything. Just want to thank Mr. Dante for his time. That was a great show, and wish for the best. Of course,
thank you. Thank you.
P1. Hey, Dante, one quick thing, man. We want to have you back on the some point, and I would love to see you wearing a Tally and Twine watch. Tally and Twine,
right?
It's a watch company. Right. I have a Tally and Twine watch. I love it. And it represents P1.
Right.
All right. So get a Tally and Twine watch, and then hashtag P1.
Come on, P1. I'm going to go to that P1.
Brother Seko, one last thing before we go, just to Jason. I mean, I understand, the whole P1 and that's great and everything, but I mean, I agree with, you're in Norfolk, so obviously the rules will be different for Norfolk. If you're bringing it to casino to Norfolk, then yeah, it would be best to have locals participating. If you're bringing it to Norfolk and it's for Norfolk, have Norfolk a part of the whole building process. Just like if you're bringing it to Portsmouth and it's for Portsmouth,
Absolutely.
have Portsmouth involved in its creation.
Absolutely. Like I said, I am a firm supporter of small businesses. I truly am. In visiting these civic leagues, Portsmouth has so many communities with small businesses. We've got to strengthen them, and I really want to be the man to strengthen them. We've got to give them a fair chance at that. Just like I said, I'm an advocate of Amazon, and I like Google, but it's nothing like a mom and pop shop. Nothing like it. We've got to strengthen that relationship. We really do.
All right, great. Well, Dante, thank you for being on the show. We'll have you back on soon. And gentlemen, another great show.
Indeed.
And Jason, hey, thank you for tapping in. I used to live in Norfolk, Jason. I love Norfolk as well. Right now, I'm a Beach Brother, as we all are. So you've been watching the Beach Brothers show. I'm Seko Varner. He's Conrad, and he's Jose. And look, if you're interested in joining our show, if you're a business and you want to get shouted out or highlighted, want to be one of the sponsors, speak to Jose. He can make sure that you're recognized, supported, and loved. All right. If you're a seed politician or a candidate, we want to hear from you. So talk to this guy right here, Conrad Schesventer. He'll get you on the show, because we love Virginia politics and we love Virginia business. And we want to make sure that we all win. So V1, Virginia first, V1. And, back in the hip hop days, we used to say, let me get it right. 2 up, 2 down, right? So that's for VA. We love you all. You guys have a great time. All right. That's what's up. V1, Virginia first, Virginia first.